Alright, so we're now in episode 29 of LEGO Marvel's The Avengers, and here we are headed to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. DLC video, or level. This is part of the Season's Pass, and since it chronologically fits after the second Captain America movie, we're going to go ahead and deal with it now before we get into Age of Ultron. Again, first, a little bit of change of pace, something for the same reasons that we touched on the villains level. Also, perhaps a little bit out of order from where things might fit chronologically. So, here the story is introducing you to the various Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV plots, and there are two of them that this level deals with, but they both have to do with the rise of the Inhumans. From sort of inside and outside of the ranks of S.H.I.E.L.D. So there goes our Quinjet ride, and dropping us off here at the front of this Chinese castle mansion thingy, and giving us two people to start off with. That is Agent Melinda May and Agent Jenna Simmons. May is sort of the veteran field agent. I guess she would be the Marvel version of Ziva from NCIS. She's brought back in by Agent Coulson because he needs some muscle. He needs people who can show other people the ropes. And as a result, Agent May's skills are all, she's got two guns. And she can call in for backup for more S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. But as you can tell, she's not the character we're using as we run around here, and that's because Agent Jenna Simmons here throws chemical bottles. Yes, she is a biochemist. She works as part of the science group within Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Of course, if you're familiar with any of these sort of police investigative procedural type shows, the science people always end up having to kick a little bit more butt than you would think based on them being science people. I mean, how many, do you really want to go into a gunfight against Tim McGee in NCIS? Not likely, but he's sort of the equivalent, unless you would focus on the coroner and Polly Perret's characters being the equivalents here. But Jenna Simmons and her scientific partner Leo Fitz end up getting much more involved on the active end of things than perhaps either thought would happen. And I'm going to be using Agent Simmons for most of this for a couple of reasons. First off, like Agent May, she has acrobatic abilities. I don't know if this is ever shown in the show, but she can do that. Unlike Agent May, her little chemical weapons that she just tosses ad nauseum, and without any real regard for anybody around them, can blow up objects, like gray objects. Not gold objects. And in that case, they seem much more effective than Agent May's guns. Although you would rather have Agent May in a fight once the enemies show up. But for right now, for solving puzzles and trying to get places, Agent Simmons, much more useful. And you know how much I love to milk studs, and that's exactly what we're doing here to begin with. Okay, so these blocks here were glowing when they were horse statues. They're still glowing, so that means that we still need to do more work on them. Okay, we're going to construct our little friend the crank here, and we're going to construct another crank on the other side, and that's going to enable us to see how we're going to get out of this little Chinese house that we're in. See, there's acrobat panels on one side, and I told you that Simmons and May are both acrobat characters. So we're going to go ahead and use Agent May to open up the other side and do the exact same process here in order to get up to that button up there and open these doors and get us to the next part of this stage. Now, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. level is similar to the Masters of Evil level in that there aren't as many parts as the levels we've been playing. The levels have been kind of split into threes. Now we're in a quick time event battle against Agent Daisy Johnson, who we'll talk more about next episode because we'll actually get to use her then. And we've already seen her briefly when we unlocked Captain America, the Sam Wilson version of Captain America in Washington, D.C. Now, I haven't watched much of the show, so don't expect me to be able to tell you much about what exactly is going on. I know that Daisy Johnson is an Inhuman, codenamed Quake. You can see her power is to create earthquakes. And right now, S.H.I.E.L.D., we've got S.H.I.E.L.D. agents we need to rescue in this town. And evidently somebody's got control of our Quinjet. I don't know if it was the Inhumans or somebody else. But there is, lots of stuff going on. So we're blowing up stuff. Now, there are a few things we can target. Okay, there's one of the guys we need to rescue. There's a couple things we can break over there. Of course, I'm still trying to grab studs. And running into the fire, not exactly a good way to collect studs. So here's some studs to gain over here. And we're going to use the little sensor pack on our PDA to figure out what the deal here is and pick up some more studs along the way. The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. cast mostly doesn't make a lot of news. I mean, the most recognizable character is Clark Gregg, is Agent Phil Coulson, who, if you thought he was dead, spoilers, they brought him back in order to run the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. group. Really, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. made their most noise when they interviewed the actress who plays Daisy Johnson. I think her name is Chloe Bennett. And basically, they asked her if there were any plans by the Marvel people to bring movie characters into the TV show. And Chloe Bennett's answer was, you think that would be a good idea, right? Basically with or something similar, paraphrase of that, with the idea being that, they keep waiting for that to happen, but it doesn't seem very likely. So that time we got too close to one of the guys, and he shot us with lightning, ate a couple of our hearts. Not very nice of him, I don't think, because all we're trying to do is rescue our other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. So far the only two enemies who have attacked us have been, well, our own friend, Agent Johnson. I just love the way that you know, the grenade animations are kind of slow in this game, but she just throws these chemical vials around like nobody's business. All right, so we got some more studs there by playing with goldfish. Now we're going to build a shield terminal here. And we do not have any... this shield terminal, like all shield terminals, will turn into a Hydra terminal when it's used. But we do not have any characters who have Hydra access in the story mode. Hydra does play a fair amount of a role in the first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You know, it turns out that one of the characters, Grant Ward, was Hydra. And Ward is part of the character pack. But, you know, they're just so much cooler Hydra guys to be used. I mean, yeah, so much rather be Baron Zemo than be Agent Ward running around trying to do Hydra stuff. Okay, that got us nothing. So now we're going to climb up here. You can see a target, and there are several of those around the map here. If you get all of them, you can get a mini kit. We're not going to successfully do that here in the story mode. That'll probably happen in the free play mode. You know, when we go in 100% everything. I don't actually need Agent May to shoot to be the one to shoot the thingy, but I don't know that right at this moment. So I spend a lot of time until, you know, I just target it with Agent Simmons, and those little explosive vials can do the trick. And if you haven't figured out by now, yes, Agent Simmons is my favorite character in this particular character grouping. Because when we get to the second half of the level, we'll get to use Agent Fitz. And Agent Johnson. And they just don't have, you know, Agent Johnson has a unique gimmick in the fact that she can destroy glass objects, which means that you have an alternative to Hawkeye for destroying glass objects. But they can't chuck explosives like this. All right, so if you were paying attention, we used Agent Simmons to subdue the Inhuman or whatever on top of this roof. And now we're trying to get down to the bottom of the level. And we don't have... found some more stuff to break and get studs for. You can see where you're holding onto that last heart there, so the next time anybody shows up to hit us, we're probably going to lose some studs when we get killed. So we're just going to blow up some suits of armor with these chemical bottles. And this, unfortunately, is, I think, the weakness of the chemical bottles. We blew up all those things, and I don't think it's going to let us blow up these silver objects here, which is, you know, I think I told you earlier that she could do that. I guess I was wrong. So running back, seeing if there are any more studs for us to collect before advancing on further into the level. And again, stud collection is easier to do in free play, but I do like to be able to do it in the story mode if you can, and point that out. And so I think by the end of this, my batting average is about maybe 500 on whether or not we get True Avenger rank on the levels or not. Now, if you're frustrated with going after True Avenger rank, there is a very easy answer for this, and that is to go into free play and collect the red bricks that give you a stud multiplier, and then turn those multipliers on. You don't need a very big multiplier if all you're trying to do is get the True Avenger rank. But if you have all the multipliers going, you can get like 3,840 times the stud amount every time you get a stud.
We needed to get to higher ground. Jiang Ying and Sky were
Right. So that computer looks important, so I'm going to run around and find some more studs before we activate it. Because again, I don't know what's going to trigger the transition, and I want to walk out of here with as many studs as possible. You can see we're not quite at halfway. Okay, so the shield terminal activates these acrobat poles. And since we have 2 acrobats, now inside this little hutch, or gazebo, or whatever you want to call it, is a drainage area. So you come back in free play, and if you're the Vision or a character who can move through drainage areas, it'll give you access to this house up here. This house that anytime we get close to it closes up and then displays a Hydra symbol. So, you know, you can't really get in here in the story mode unless you glitch your way in. It is possible to glitch your way into this house. I'm not sure how to do it since the only time I've done it was accidental. But I think it has to do with somehow having your partner character end up inside the house with you outside of the house, and then having the door close on them and switching characters. And if you're trying to figure out how to do that, I don't really know how to do it either.
just as we were in range of Sky. We confirmed.
All right, so now we've chased off Agent Johnson again. And you can see the trail of studs. It leads you to the direction where the mid-level transition is. And now I'm throwing stuff at Agent Johnson's entire family. So we walk by them. Now they are where the level transitions. But I thought there might be more studs, and there were down where Agent Simmons jumped. So this time I'm going to use Agent May's double jump, which either I failed to activate on Agent Simmons or she simply didn't have. I think it's more an issue I failed to activate it. And she's breaking some stuff, again, purely to pick up a few extra studs, even though most of them fell on the other side of the wall where we can't get to them, and therefore they are not particularly helpful for us. And so here we go. We are going to have to work our way back up the poles. Probably the reason that this got extended out to the 20-minute mark, as opposed to being around, I don't know, 17 minutes in total. And now we're headed to the end of the level, and next time we will deal with the rest of Agent Johnson's family issues as we go inside a shield base to do something for some reason. I'm sure it'll make more sense next time. I'll see you then.